It was a bright Saturday afternoon in the heart of the city, the kind of day that looked perfect on the outside but carried the hidden weight of 1,000 untold stories. Cars rushed past the sidewalks, people laughed in cafes, and somewhere between all that noise, a man named Aaron Cole was quietly fighting battles no one could see. He was a single father to a 7-year-old girl named Maya, who was his world, his reason to wake up every morning and push through every hardship life threw at him. Aaron worked as a waiter in a mid-range restaurant called Harbor Lights, surviving paycheck to paycheck, dreaming one day of owning a small food truck where he could cook and smile without fear of being fired for serving too slowly. But life wasn't that kind to Aaron. It rarely is to those who already carry too much. That afternoon, as the sun poured golden light through the restaurant windows, Aaron finished his shift late and picked up Maya from a neighbor who watched her while he worked. He promised her ice cream from the park vendor, a small joy that cost $1, but to Maya, it was everything. They sat under the big oak tree, laughing as she got ice cream on her cheeks. For a moment, Aaron forgot about unpaid bills and broken dreams. He just saw his daughter smile, the same smile her late mother used to have before fate took her too soon. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and good people who still do the right thing when no one's watching, then please take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Stories of Kindness. It helps us reach more hearts just like yours. As evening approached, Aaron walked Maya home and tucked her into bed before heading back out to deliver a few food orders through an app. It was his side hustle, every extra dollar mattered. Around 10 p.m., as he cycled through a quiet street behind a high-end nightclub, he heard something that made his heart stop. A muffled cry. A woman's voice, frightened and trembling. He slowed down and saw, just behind the dumpster in the dim alley, a woman struggling to push away two men who reeked of alcohol. Her heels were broken, her makeup smeared, and she looked barely conscious, clearly drunk and terrified. Without thinking, Aaron jumped off his bike, yelling, "Hey! Leave her alone!" The men turned, startled, one pulling a knife halfway out of his pocket. Aaron's hands shook, but his voice didn't. He grabbed a metal rod lying nearby and held it firm. "Back off," he said, eyes locked on theirs. After a tense second, the men cursed and ran, vanishing into the night. The woman collapsed to her knees, crying. Aaron quickly put away the rod and helped her up. "You're safe now," he said gently. She was shaking, barely able to speak. I can't, thank you," she whispered, slurring her words. He noticed the expensive dress, the diamond earrings, the elegant but ruined clutch. Whoever she was, she didn't belong here. Aaron didn't ask questions. He just offered his jacket, called a cab, and helped her inside. When she asked his name before passing out, he said softly, "Aaron." The next morning, Aaron thought it was all over. Just another night where he did what anyone should. But fate had different plans. A few days later, as Aaron started his shift at the restaurant, whispers filled the air. "The CEO is here," someone said. The staff straightened up, and when Aaron turned toward the door, his heart skipped. It was her, the same woman from that night, only now she wasn't a scared, trembling figure. She was powerful, composed, and radiant in a tailored suit. Her name, as the staff whispered, was Evelyn Hart, CEO of Hart Industries, one of the biggest firms in the city. Evelyn looked around the restaurant until her eyes met Aaron's. He froze, unsure what to do. She walked over calmly, her heels clicking against the marble floor. "Aaron Cole," she said, her voice steady but kind. He nodded nervously. "Can we talk outside?" Once they stepped out, Evelyn's confident expression softened. "You saved my life that night," she said quietly. "I didn't remember much until I found your jacket in my car the next morning. I asked around and found where you worked." Aaron shook his head, uncomfortable with praise. "You don't have to thank me. Anyone would have done the same." She smiled faintly. "No, not everyone would. Most people would have walked away." Over the next few days, Evelyn began visiting the restaurant often. She'd order simple meals and ask Aaron how his daughter was doing. Sometimes she'd leave large tips he tried to refuse, but she'd just wink and say, "Consider it an investment in kindness." Slowly, an unlikely friendship formed between them. Evelyn, who lived in a glass tower of power and loneliness, found warmth in Aaron's simplicity. And Aaron, who had forgotten what being cared for felt like, began to smile again. One afternoon, Evelyn asked him to bring Maya to the company's family picnic. He hesitated, feeling out of place among her wealthy employees, but Maya's excitement convinced him. When they arrived, Maya ran through the green fields with other kids while Aaron stood aside, feeling awkward in his faded jeans. Evelyn walked up with 2 lemonades and said, "You belong here, Aaron. Don't look at them, they just have fancier clothes, not bigger hearts." Her words, so effortlessly kind, hit something deep inside him. But not everyone liked their growing friendship. Rumors began spreading in Evelyn's office that the CEO was involved with a waiter. Her board of directors questioned her decisions, her assistant warned her about reputational risks, and journalists started sniffing around. Evelyn ignored them, but the pressure grew heavy. One evening, after a particularly harsh meeting, she visited the restaurant again. Aaron noticed she wasn't her usual self. Her eyes were red, her voice shaky. "They think I'm ruining my image," she said bitterly. "Just because I'm friends with someone they think is beneath me." Aaron looked down, hurt but not surprised. "They're right," he said quietly. "You shouldn't risk your reputation for someone like me." Evelyn's eyes softened. "Someone like you? Aaron, you're the reason I started believing people can be good without expecting anything in return. You didn't save a CEO that night, you saved a lost person. And you reminded me what being human feels like." But Aaron still pulled back, saying, "I can't let Maya see me become a problem in someone else's world." He walked away, leaving Evelyn standing in the doorway, fighting back tears. Weeks passed. Evelyn stopped visiting. Aaron told himself it was for the best, but every time he saw his jacket, the one she'd had cleaned and returned with a note that said, "For when you need courage again," his heart ached a little more. Then one morning, something unexpected happened. Aaron received a letter, not from a court or a debt collector, but from Hart Industries. It was a formal offer. A job. Not as a waiter, but as the head of hospitality for their corporate cafeteria, with a salary high enough to change his and Maya's lives.